Hello everyone, welcome to Mysterious Mariam. I am Mariam. Today's video includes some graphic details which may not be suitable for some of you, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's dive in. During the early morning of Friday, April 15th, 1994, two local surfers walking near the Sunset Cliffs Natural Park and Beach in San Diego discovered a body floating face down in kelp. The body was reported and moved to San Diego Lifeguard Headquarters at 4 p.m., where an official investigation was opened. The body was of a female, naked at the time of her discovery, with only a brass bracelet on her left arm along with true rings. She had a butterfly tattoo on her shoulder which was half-ripped and long brown hair. When medical examiner inspected the body, he described large, tearing-type wounds with missing tissue. Her right leg was missing from thigh down. Forensic experts believed that the body had not been in the water for a long time. Initially, the cause of death was marked unknown, with unproven assumptions seeing the condition of the body that it was simply a shock attack. Police had no identity information for the woman at this point. By the next evening, the tragic tale of the unknown female killed in a suspected shark attack was headline news across California. Sitting at home watching 10 o'clock news, Denise Knox, a stationery shop owner, was suddenly hit by a bolt of recognition at the description of the girl with butterfly tattoo. Calling the coroner, she was soon driving with a friend for support out to the morgue. Unable to bring herself to view the remains, a Polaroid photo was taken by an assistant and passed out to her. Looking quickly at the image, no doubt remained. The shark attack victim was in fact her employee, Michelle von Emster. First of all, I'm not gonna use any of Michelle's photos in the video because I found Michelle's sister, Tressa Colon, uncomfortable with a blogger using her photos, so I totally respect her choice. I hope you people will too. If any of you want to connect with Michelle even more, you can read the article written by Teresa. Honestly, that article really helped me connect with Michelle. I will try my best not to use such words that are gonna hurt Teresa or her family. Michelle von Emster was born in 1968. She was a California local all her life and grew up in San Carlos, located just outside of San Francisco. In 1982, Michelle and her sister worked at St. Charles Rectory. The rectory acts as office for parish, which consists of large congregation and a cared school, as well as home for 2 or 3 priests who worked in the residency in the church. Now, this is a very important information and one of the dark phase of Michelle's life that everyone seemed to miss, even after Michelle's sister came forward to talk about it. We are gonna discuss about that later. So, as one of the 5 girls in Emster family, Michelle attended and ultimately graduated from the nearby all-girls Notre Dame High School in 1986. Michelle then went on to study at St. Mary's College, but her university career was derailed when she was diagnosed with cancer. In 1991, she got hit with a devastating blow, a diagnosis of Hodgkin's disease, which is a potentially fatal form of leukemia. Her college plans derailed. She battled through a year of horrible chemotherapy, which would come to give her a second chance. After making a full recovery, she took off with friends on a liberating road trip around California's Route 66. She stopped along the way at Ocean Beach and compelled by the beauty of the spot, her lifelong affinity with the ocean, she decided to stay there. She moved down to south, where she soon became a free-spirited beach girl. Although she rented a place in the scenic hills of Loma Portal, overlooking San Diego Bay, she was quite the drifter, spending much of her time at Ocean Beach, known at the time as the place of surfers and bohemians. But city's high crime rate is also noticeable, which exceeded the national average. Indeed, Michelle lived in a part of the town known as the war zone. While on the outside, Michelle's life was perhaps filled with contradictions. Some saw her as a party girl, while others saw her as a health nut who meditated on the beach daily. One thing was for sure, she loved the ocean and was free-spirited. So much so, in fact, that she seemed to commemorate her lifestyle with a butterfly tattoo on her right shoulder. On the night of April 14, 1994, Michelle went out to attend a Pink Floyd concert with her friend and roommate, but two discovered that they had bought the wrong tickets. Michelle was apparently pretty disappointed about it all, and on the way home, she asked her friend to drop her off on Ocean Beach that was not far away from the house she was staying at the time. Michelle's friend thought nothing of it, as she was only a few blocks from the house, and Michelle spent a lot of evenings walking along the beach lost in her thoughts. Considering how upset she was about missing a concert she had been looking forward to for weeks, she just assumed that she wanted to take a stroll and clear her mind. The friend dropped her off as asked at around 8 p.m. and she would not have possibly imagined that this would be the last time Michelle would be seen alive. After police found out the identity of the body, Michelle's purse was found about 2.5 miles away from her body, containing her keys, driver's license, makeup, pay stub, and a fanny pack with $27 in cash. Problem was, her purse was discovered on a heavily used stretch of beach, which means the purse probably wouldn't have been there for long, or else someone else would have taken it or at least noticed it. So it seemed like someone deliberately planted that purse there. On April 16th, 1994, 2 days after Michelle's body was found, an official autopsy was performed by San Diego medical examiner Brian Blackburn. According to the official report, Michelle's right leg was missing from thigh down. She suffered a broken bone, broken ribs, a broken pelvis, and various scrapes and concussions on her face and torso. There were also large quantities of sand found in her mouth, lungs, throat, and stomach. The autopsy stated that Michelle was alive when her injuries were inflicted and would had to have taken a large breath or gulp on the ocean floor for all the sand to end up inside her. Blackburn ruled Michelle's death as shock attack. He developed a timeline that Michelle was last seen alive at 8 p.m. She entered the water sometime around 12 a.m. Shortly after Michelle entered the water of the Pacific, she was attacked by a great white shark. The great white shark may have grabbed Michelle, bit off her leg, and forced her to the bottom of the ocean, breaking her neck and filling her mouth with the sand, which she subsequently choked on and swallowed. Then she would have died from blood loss and drowning. However, the problem was Blackburn had never seen a death caused by a shark attack before, and neither had anyone else who had looked at the body in autopsy. The marine biologist that had agreed with him had never seen Michelle's body in person. This could make their conclusion questionable. Richard Rosenblatt, the chairman of Scripps Institute at the time, after being given the measurements of the injuries on Michelle's body, said that none of them were caused by a white shark, and that if she had been bitten by one, they most likely would have found a great white shark tooth in her body, which they had not. Rosenblatt said that because Michelle's leg was missing, it could only have been a white shark and not any other type of shark. Rolf Collier, leading expert in Pacific Coast white shark behavior and ecology, on seeing Michelle's broken leg bone, remarked that when a white shark breaks off the part of a limb, the break is clean, almost like you put it on a table saw. What remained of Michelle's femur was anything but that. It looked like what happens when you get a piece of bamboo and whittle it down to a point with a knife. He had looked at the close of 100 photos of cases over the years, and he had never seen any bones that came to this point after getting attacked by a white shark. Collier also said that it was strange for Michelle to have sand in her stomach after her leg had been severed, saying that the damage would have severed her femoral artery and she would have bled to death quickly. But for her to have sand in her stomach, she had to have big gulping breath as she made contact with sand. There were also blue shark's bite marks on her body. Harry Bonnell, a pathologist, stated there was no evidence these bites occurred after her death. Michelle's toxicology test failed to show any prescription or recreational drugs or alcohol in her system. Despite living among drug dealers, there was no proof that Michelle did any drugs. Unofficially, the case remained a mystery for many who believed that her injuries were not consistent with a shark attack and that something else must have caused her death before she entered the water. Let's talk about the theories people talked about as possible reason of her death. First of all, if this was to be considered as an accidental drowning, Michelle's body was found naked. So let's presume she went swimming naked. The water temperature that night was about 59 degrees Fahrenheit, which is likely too cold for anyone to consider a nude midnight swim. And her injuries are, according to white shark expert, inconsistent with shark attacks. What if Michelle died as a result of a fall from Sunset Cliffs? A San Francisco medical examiner declared that her neck, rib, and pelvic injuries were consistent with those of a fall, or someone hit by a car and fell down the cliff. Sunset Cliffs is known as one of the most beautiful sightseeing cliffs in San Diego, but is also known to be dangerous with reports of crumbling sandy rocks. People have died in the spot before. However, falling off the cliff would not explain her missing leg, and why would she casually stand naked on a cliff? Some people speculated that Michelle might have taken her own life, but this seemed very unlikely. First of all, again, why would she remove her clothes before jumping off the cliff or before drowning into the ocean? And she was a cancer survivor and determined to live her life with gusto. What if Michelle von Emster was murdered? Generally being that someone hurt her badly, left her to die in the ocean, her clothes were never found, and her purse which seemed planted with money and other items intact, which was found in obvious location not far away. Two suspects were considered in this regard, Edwin Decker and an unknown stalker. Let's talk about about Edwin Decker first. He was a good person to many who tried to solve the so-called mystery about this case, but to me, honestly, he seemed kinda weird. Edwin Decker had a short-lived romantic encounter with Michelle 2 nights before her body was found, according to Edwin. Suspicion was drawn to Edwin after he penned a mysterious, morbid poem about Michelle after her death. You can pause the screen to read the poem if you want. I don't know what you guys think about it, but it sounds very creepy to me. Edwin Decker was the one who said that Michelle had told him that she liked to surf naked. However, no local surfers nor her friends ever recalled her surfing. Another potential suspect was revealed when a co-worker at an office supply store where Michelle had previously worked saw a man making several copies of original autopsy report of Michelle shortly after the investigation was concluded. This co-worker claimed the man had a motorcycle. This suspect theory ties in with the workplace stalker Michelle once complained about to her friend who also owned a motorcycle, who was stalking her since Michelle was working at a cafe. In 2008, Edwin Decker, along with the journalist Neil Matthews, submitted a request to review Michelle's autopsy report. The report was reviewed in 2008 by new chief medical examiner Glenn Wagner, who, according to an article by Decker, concluded that there seemed to be some questionable evidence, but not enough to justify amending her death certificate. So pretty much nothing came out of it. Currently, the global shark attack file does not recognize Michelle's incident as a fatal shark attack. Now let's talk about Tressa Colon, Michelle's sister. Michelle's family never came public regarding Michelle's death. When there were so many questions left to public, her family never raised any of those questions. Edwin Decker was the one who tried to reopen the investigation, but never her family. Why? Maybe because they have no unanswered question, no unsolved mystery at all. Tressa Colon is a mental health campaigner, sport group leader, and the young sister of Michelle. On February 4th, 2019, Tressa published an article titled "The Roman Catholic Church Raped My Family." In it, she alleged that as teenager, Michelle was the victim of sustained psychological and sexual abuse by their local Catholic priest in San Carlos, California. Teresa wrote that subsequently her beloved sister's life went off the rails. First, mysterious fainting fits, the alcoholism, and growing dependency on cannabis and cocaine. It was the first time she said she thought they were gonna lose her. She elaborated how childhood sex abuse does not affect a single person but a whole family. The years that followed were full of trauma and pain for Michelle and her family, dropping out of the college, cancer treatments, and a strained relationship with her parents. Teresa does not explicitly stated a cause of death. Teresa in last few years have spoken about the speculation made by the people that all the facts regarding Michelle's death are not made public, Michelle was not murdered, and there is no mystery surrounding her case. They have their answers, and I think at the end of the day, that's all what matters. Closure for the family. If they have their closure, our curiosities and questions, I think, are not that important to be addressed. That's all I had to say on this case. Tell me in the comments below what do you think, and drop a like if you liked the video. Do subscribe for more such videos, and I will see you next week. Bye.